Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I wanted to sit down and have a chat to you all about my upcoming wedding. As I sit down to film this video today, it is 6 months away, so it's coming up and naturally I'm very excited. I thought that I'd just do a whole video on this subject since I know I've mentioned certain things in passing in previous vlogs or updates, but I feel like there's a fair bit more to share. So I wanted to do that for anyone who might be interested, especially since this is a very specific style of wedding that I'm planning, and I feel it's a little bit different to people that I know personally in real life and that I follow on social media. I'm planning quite a small and intimate wedding, and also with a low budget of doing it all under 5k. So hopefully you do find this interesting. If you do, please keep on watching. It's going to be a casual one again today. I've just got my coffee with me here since it's a very hot day out there, and I'd suggest you grab one too, or possibly a snack, because I'm just about to jump into it. I suppose I'll start out by mentioning a lot is planned already, which I think one would hope with 6 months out from a wedding date. So far we've organised our ceremony and also reception. These things are all booked up. I had thought about mentioning what I'm doing, but I think I'll just leave that until after the wedding is all done, and obviously I'll share some pictures and probably or possibly put up a video with a few clips from the day. I'm not too sure yet, but for now I'm just keeping that a little bit under wraps. Obviously the guests know where they're going and it's not a surprise for anything like that. I think just a lot of brides don't want to broadcast too much about what they're doing on social media, or at least that's the case for me at this stage pre-wedding. But that point is all sorted for the ceremony and reception. Everything's booked and I don't need to worry about it anymore. Alongside this, all of the invitations are sent, and this was actually really helpful in saving money as well, just because the invites were designed by one of Brendan's friends, free of charge or kind of as our wedding gift. So that was really nice. I know sometimes wedding invites can be really expensive, or I suppose I don't since I didn't have to pay for them, but I know a lot of my friends who have gotten married have had to put in a lot of work and money towards this, so I feel like we got very lucky in the sense we didn't have to pay for this. All we did was postage, which honestly didn't cost too much, especially since we're keeping our guest list quite small. And then last of all, another big thing that we've already planned is our honeymoon, or in our case, mini moon. We've obviously done big trips in recent years and obviously have very big trips planned for the future, but didn't want to commit to anything like that so big after a wedding because, again, following up from the wedding, we want to be really focusing on buying our first home together. So no big trip for us, we're just doing a little holiday, which I think will be really nice. We'll just take a few days away together, and of course we didn't want to leave the dogs for too long, so taking a few days away will be more of an appealing thing to have some time away from the kids, so to speak. So obviously those are all pretty big things done and dusted, but with our small and intimate wedding, there are also things that we don't need to organise or just have otherwise chosen not to do. One of which is doing anything with a bridal party. We're just not doing it. Realistically, if we did have bridesmaids or groomsmen, I feel like there would just be immediate family in the seats since we're only inviting a couple friends. So we're just not doing it. I think it's not really our style, and like I said, it's such a small group anyway, so it doesn't really make sense to do so, for us anyway. Realistically, there'll be 25 people at the wedding, including bride and groom, so yeah, that's just something we don't need to stress about. And in turn, this is obviously saving money since dealing with getting bridesmaids dresses or groomsmen suits or renting them, taking care of their grooming on the day and gifts and all of the involved outings and everything like that, it really adds up. I think even if the bridesmaids and things would spend their own money on the day, I just wouldn't feel comfortable, so it's just something we've opted not to do. Another thing we've chosen not to do is any official wedding entertainment. We're just happy having a little wedding playlist. I think it will suit us fine, and our more casual and intimate wedding setting. For us, having certain music isn't that much of a priority. Obviously we can find nice music that we love and just play it through, you know, speakers or the system at the locations we're at, and that's good enough for us. In fact, there's no... What the f... A baby gecko just fell into my lap. Did you see that? Oh god. I have a gecko phobia, and I think that would scare the shit out of someone if something just fell onto them. Oh, kind of glad that I was filming that. but don't know if this will make it in the video. Along the same lines, there's going to be no vendors at all for the wedding. Not even the big one that most people organize, a photographer. That's right, we're not having a photographer at our wedding. We'll still have pictures. In fact, one of Brendan's family members used to do photography, and he's got a lot of nice cameras, DSLRs, that he can take pictures with. And we're actually open to having friends and family take pictures on their phones just for themselves and little candid moments throughout the day. I think that would be quite nice. And that's definitely more the style that I think suit our relationship, because we're really quite private and are not into PDA at all. The thought of post photography for a wedding day really makes me cringe for myself. Obviously, I like looking at my friends and family's wedding pictures. I think that they look really cute, but it's just not my style. So on the day, I think we'll probably just have some really nice, high quality, candid pictures. I'm sure that'll be lovely. And we'll of course get group pictures with friends and family. And I think one little thing that I'll do that's slightly cheesy is just get some posed pictures with Quentin and Macy. Maybe we can do something cute like have Quentin as the ring bearer and Macy as a flower girl in some pictures in our outfits. I think that'll be quite nice. But honestly, all of those ideas is enough for me, and I think I'll be satisfied with those pictures. And then last of all, another big thing that we, or more so myself, are kind of opting not to do is have any hair and makeup people on the day. I guess maybe it's obvious by the fact that it's a small wedding, but I'm just not doing it. I know a lot of people do this. They get their hair and makeup done because either they think they're going to be nervous, they don't know how to do it, or they like to be pampered by someone else. For myself, I genuinely just want to look like polished version of myself, really put together and really lovely, of course. I want to be a beautiful bride, but I do want to look like me. So my thoughts on wedding makeup is I just want to have it be like really lovely date makeup that I would wear on an anniversary with Brendan or something like that, rather than look like an entirely separate person. I've noticed this whenever I've had my makeup done at friends' weddings, or I did actually model in a bridal expo a couple years back, and I noticed that the makeup looked really nice, but I just looked so different, and Brendan hated it. He hated it just because I looked so different, and I'm kind of taking that on board. Obviously, I want to look dolled up, but like I said, I still want to look like me. So that's just another thing we're opting out of. Of course, it will save money, and I think overall I'll be happier in the long run. Now, on the subject of beauty as well, I have started my prep for the wedding. I think maybe I will do a whole separate video on the subject of all the things that I'm doing down the track as the day gets closer, just because I feel like there'll be a lot to talk about then. But for now, a big focus of mine is on my skin and really improving it and healing any scarring that I have, just avoiding any breakouts and clearing those up by getting skin needling done. I've had it done every single month for the past 3 months at a dermatologist. I think it's working pretty well. I'm noticing big changes, I'd say, and I'm only halfway through my sessions. I've got 3 more booked and paid for to go, so hopefully that'll continue to go well, and when I'm finished with it, I've at least got a bit more time still before the wedding if there's more treatments I want to do, maybe little things like facials and that beforehand. But this is kind of the heavy duty stuff that I wanted to organize early, and so far, so good. And to a lesser extent, I'm also taking better care of my hair just by trimming it regularly and keeping up with Olaplex, which I've been doing for a little bit as well. And then lastly, I'm also just trying to keep up or improve upon my fitness routine. I'm not trying to lose weight, lose dress sizes or anything crazy like that, just tone up in general. I have always had this goal, and I'm constantly trying to do so and improve upon my fitness and my physical looks, but also my strength and just things that are not as tangibly measured. But this is all things for myself, and like I said, it's always something I'm striving for, but I've got an extra kick in the butt since I've got my wedding coming up soon. Sorry, I feel really nervous and not as relaxed as when I started this video. I'm scared another one of those gecko bastards is gonna fall on me. Now obviously I've said a few things I've organised, I've said a few things I don't need to organise, and there are still a few things that I need to get done as well. One big one, I guess, is organising my wedding dress. Haven't done that yet. I know sometimes people will have 6 months or even less in a short engagement. Obviously I've been engaged for a while, nearly 6 years I think, by the time that we get married. But I haven't organised my dress. Obviously it's something I didn't want to do too early on, and now I'm just trying to narrow down a few choices. I do have a short list, I should say, so I'm not completely clueless on what I want to buy. I've got a few ideas, I just need to narrow them down unless I find one that I just fall in love with immediately, because that hasn't happened yet. I found a few that I love and I just need to narrow this down, so that's something I'm working on for the next little bit. But then finally, once I purchase the dress, I'm lucky in the sense that I have had training in alterations, so I can do all of my alterations myself, and that's another way that I'll be saving a bit of money. If Brendan buys a new suit, he's honestly considering just re-wearing one and buying, a new shirt and tie. If he needs any little adjustments or alterations, I'll just do his as well, because maybe that'll be a nice thing to do for him too. And then last of all, the only other thing I think we need to plan is pretty much our hens night and bucks nights. Even though I said we're not having bridal parties, we still want to do stuff with friends, and obviously that'll open up the invites a little bit. We're not just inviting people that are going to the wedding, because we still have friends that we wish we can involve, but we're keeping numbers small. So we'll get to celebrate with them in a different way, just having a night out each or a weekend, Brian with his friends and myself with mine. But I think you might be able to tell, since everything else is being kept kind of low-key, the nights will probably still be a little bit low-key for both of us. I'm thinking of maybe doing like a girly sleepover movie night thing, since going out and getting shit-faced and going out and looking at male strippers is definitely not appealing to me in the slightest. I've been to a lot of hens nights like that, and that's just not my thing. So I think for me, it's just going to be girly sleepover night in. It really appeals to my introverted self, and that's just really all I want. So that's probably something I need to organize very soon. Got to add that in the list actually. I've got this gigantic wedding binder from Kiki K. Haven't used it that much, but I think moving forward as we get closer and closer, it's useful for me now to put in what I have organized, just to see any gaps that I've missed. And obviously I'm not talking about every facet of a wedding today and wedding planning, but if there are any things that you think I've forgotten, haven't mentioned, or things that you think are often overlooked, definitely let me know. And I think that's it for wedding updates. Honestly, I know this style of wedding is not for everyone, but it's what I and my fiance Brendan want, and that's what we're doing. I really think that if you want a small wedding like we're doing, go for it. I think if you want to elope, go for it. And if you want to have a gigantic wedding, go for it. Just don't go into debt over it. That's something that I've seen friends do, and I think it's a big mistake. Obviously, it's your day, but it's one day. I think that's just my mindset on it. Honestly, in my case, myself and my soon-to-be husband, I always find it weird trying to explain Brendan, because I really don't like the word fiance, and I think I said it a few seconds ago. But I think for us, the priority on the day is just to celebrate our love together, as cheesy as that sounds, and it's an excuse to celebrate with our family and friends, people that are important to us, and in a way it's kind of like a family reunion for myself as well, since I don't see everyone in my family in one place often, or really ever. The last time it happened was for my engagement party, and before that I can't even remember. We've got my older sister and her husband flying in from the US, and it'll be the first time that I'm seeing her in like 4 years, I want to say. So I'm super excited for that, and this is the reason that she's flying back. Obviously, if I didn't get married this year or at all, she'd visit eventually, but I just think it's a nice excuse to see everyone as well. I can say myself, and I know Bren feels the same way about this, we're excited about the wedding, but more so excited to be married. On the same hand, we have been together for a decade, so I think the concept of having a huge over-the-top wedding seems really redundant and just not our style. I am genuinely really excited about the day, even though I'm foregoing a lot of traditional bridal things and wedding things. I'm actually really proud of the fact that we're doing a bit more of a low-budget wedding and just living, I wouldn't say within our means, almost beneath our means on this. We're still not compromising anything. We're going to have everything that we want, since our priorities for the day were good company, which we'll have, and good food, which we'll also have. So genuinely really happy about it, and happy that we're doing it our own way. And I think that's probably a good way to plan if you're also a bride-to-be or groom-to-be. If you're planning a wedding, just do it your way, and don't worry about tradition or what family expects. It's your day, just do what you want. Like I said, whether it's a smaller wedding like mine or if it's a huge one, just be sensible with money. But now I think with that, that is everything I need to update on for the upcoming wedding. Like I said, I'm very excited about it, but I'm realistic. It is literally one day, so I can be excited without becoming a bridezilla or going into debt, doing anything crazy. I'm still excited though. I think some people, I don't want to put thoughts in people's heads, but I think some people might see me explaining things and think I'm justifying or that I'm not excited. I genuinely am. I just have a bit of a different approach where I don't want all eyes on me and a big circus of a wedding. And obviously that's what I'm doing. But now with that, I think that's everything I have to update you on. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'd really love to hear them as I continue to plan over the coming months. And like I said as well, I'm considering doing a specific bridal beauty video, since obviously there's a few things I'm doing now and things that I'll do as the date gets closer. But now I will be wrapping it up here. So I just wanted to thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. But like I said, I will be leaving it here. So I just wanted to thank you once again, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye!